All right, it's Doug Cunnington here from the Side Project, and I think I'm yelling. I think I'm talking too loud, so I'm gonna quiet down. I'm just gonna get closer to the microphone instead. And today's Q&A Friday, so we're just gonna chill here for a second. I see one person's waiting, and hopefully in a second you're gonna see me. You're gonna hear me, and go ahead and start asking questions. So we'll queue them up. I'm going to try and run a tight ship today. I'm going to try to, answer questions quickly, move through it fast, doing a shorter day. My parents are getting in town. They're at the airport in Salt Lake right now, so they're going to be getting here for lunch, which is cool. So that'll be exciting. We're going to go on some hikes. They live in Georgia, where I'm from, where my wife's from. But they've been coming up, once a year since we moved in. Kat's on, what's up? Julian's on, what's up? Folks, start asking questions so we can just move through them, go through fast. And if you could do like a pound question, like the word, so I could easily see. I just thought of that, by the way. That'll make it much easier for me to see through when there's actually a question on there. Pierre's on, what's up? From Italy, right? Is that right? And then Laron, I think if I'm pronouncing it right. By the way, if it's the first time you're joining a live stream, just let me know in the chat. That'll be cool to know, just in general. Mohammed's on, what's up? Yeah, everyone say hello, please. If you could chat, I guess some people could be watching on their phone. Maybe they're driving. Hopefully not. If you're driving, go ahead and sign off. You shouldn't be watching this. Catch the replay later. Okay, we're gonna do Q&A today, and yeah, my parents are coming in town, so on Monday we're gonna watch the eclipse. We're actually driving down about 3 hours, so we're gonna be like in the path of totality. Like there's a small, I can't remember, I think it's like 22 miles, or there's some portion where it's like 100%. We're driving down to Idaho Falls. We're going to check it out. And I've seen, when I was a kid, I saw a solar eclipse in Lawrenceville, Georgia. It was like 1984 or so. So I was like 5. It could have been 83, but there was like an eclipse, a solar eclipse that was like 98%, which is like super close. And I remember like kind of watching it get dark, and we had like the little glasses and stuff. But in this case, we're actually close enough. We're driving down to watch the 100% solar eclipse, so we're pretty pumped about it. We have our glasses and everything, and it should be cool. So John's on, what's up? And LaRon says it's the first time. John, it's the first time also. Thanks for joining up. Really appreciate you taking time. If you have questions, now's the time to ask. And I'm just going to sort of go through them in the order in which we see them. Leo, what's up? Steph's on as well. Super. Really cool. So as I'm waiting for questions, I can tell you I've been doing a bunch of like 15-minute calls with people, and that's because I did this little marketing experiment, promotion experiment last week, where I sent an email out to my email list and said, hey, if you comment on Noah Kagan's video, this particular video, put it in this sort of format, I'll do a free 15-minute call with you. And like 30 or so people did that. So needless to say, Noah, he and I had exchanged a little correspondence in the past via Twitter and a couple emails. Just I've followed him since I started online, and I basically he knows who I am exactly. He knows exactly who I am now because on most of his videos he gets maybe, I don't know, a few dozen, or that's too many, maybe a dozen comments, maybe up to like 20 or 30 for some of the more popular ones. And a lot of times the video views vary. Some take off, some do not. But in this particular case, I think he now has like over 120 comments or so on that video, and a good chunk of them, a third of them or so like mention my name. So that's kind of crazy. And hopefully there'll be more on that coming up. Again, if you have questions, please ask in the chat. Of course, that is the only way to do it. If you do a pound question, it makes it a little easier to see. So Pastor Duke, I appreciate you doing that. And XCNet's on, and Snowers1, what's up? Mohammed. So Mohammed says, how many niche sites am I running? Like 3. So I'm not, actually that leads me into a tangent. And this is why these sessions go so long. It's my own fault. So I've been getting a lot of questions and seeing a lot of people ask questions like, hey, I'm glad I found your site, and you know, I need help getting traffic to my niche sites. I have 10 of them. And I'm thinking to myself, you should focus on one and learn the ropes, learn the process, figure out what works. You'll learn what does not work, which is just as important. But the worst thing you can do, and Mohammed, by the way, I'm not saying you're doing this. It triggered something in my mind. So personally, I just have like 2 sites, and I generally focus on like one of them at a time. It's just how I work. So the thing is, if you do want to have a portfolio of sites, you must focus on one, get it successful, and then move on to the next, and so on. What you should not do is start like 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 sites and like do all the work sort of in parallel, because what will happen is you're going to make mistakes. You're going to repeat your mistake like 10 times, and then you're going to have to go fix it 10 times if you don't give up, which most people give up. The thing you want to do is implement one site, you'll make some mistakes, and then you'll figure out what not to do. On your second site, you'll make fewer mistakes. Maybe you'll make some different ones, but you'll get better. On the third site, you'll get a little better, and so on. So on the 10th site, you kind of have it like, I mean, you have your system down, like you know what you're doing, you know what to expect, and you know what to do. And you're not as frustrated because you're like, oh, you could look back and you could see you actually didn't like make as many mistakes, and you're actually getting better. That's why, for example, Rob Atkinson, one of my friends, he's on several of the coaching calls that you may have seen. Like he knew how to do niche sites, and he was growing his portfolio, and he was implementing systems, and he was able to refine the system and like customize it for himself. I mean, you can get all those templates that Rob used, and they've evolved over time because it's a constant improvement process here. Okay, long answer to a short question. The answer is 3. Pastor Duke says, in my experience when posting a keyword golden ratio article, how long does it take it to go from its original ranking to its final ranking? Well, there's no final ranking, so it's kind of a trick question. It can take up to a year though. So I can tell you a lot of the content that I published like over a year ago, I'm seeing more of an increase in traffic, which I believe either it's movement in rankings or more long tail keywords coming in. And Pastor further says, you have a new site that has 20 KGR articles, and they all started in the top 50, but you haven't broken the top 10. Most are between 11 and 20. That's great. In 6 months, they should be moving up even more. I'm assuming you will be doing some link building. You will be doing some promotion to just get some links to your site. And I expect, I mean, you say a new site, and that tells me, you know, patience is key. I emailed a bunch of people today, and I was like, patience, persistence, like be adaptable and flexible. Things are going to go wrong, trust me. So just be flexible and go with the flow, and you'll be fine, and be patient. So Loran says, any idea why my archive and category pages in WordPress are ranking before your actual posts, which are SEO'd? Hey, that just happens sometimes. And what I recommend that you do is go to your SEO plugin, whatever it is, and you should have the ability to index your category, tag, any kind of archive pages, date archive pages, author archive pages, no index all of those, because you do not want those ranking over your actual pages. So that is the solution to your problem there. Kat says, you read somewhere now that Google prefers shorter content, like a max of 800 words because of mobile SERP preference. What are my insights? This is the first time that I've ever heard that, and I am unsure. I have no opinion on it other than I don't publish anything that is shorter than 800, so I'm doing it wrong. So I'll keep an eye out for it, but I have not seen any documentation on that. Thanks for mentioning it, though, Kat. Julian says, what's a good ratio of money pages to information pages on one site? 50% information pages or more. Snowers1 says, do I know any websites similar to TV solutions for purchasing powerful domains that haven't been dropped? No, I don't. Sorry about that. I would maybe, you know what, the only thing that I would guess is maybe check out like Flippa and some other like marketplaces. Probably not Flippa, but maybe others, where you can just buy existing blogs. I mean, I think I mentioned it in the last couple of days. If I was starting a new site, I would probably buy an existing blog that was like a few years old with a decent amount of content that maybe wasn't monetized that well, and maybe, you know, pay a decent chunk of money for it and then turn it into an affiliate site and publish affiliate content. So Pastor says his site is 2.5 months old, and yes, you're doing link building. So yeah, just keep going with the plan. In about 6 months, you should see, I mean, it's a steady, slow growth. And then once you get out of the sandbox, oftentimes things will change a lot more dramatically. All right, what other questions do we have? Those are good questions, and I like the pound question. Let's do shorthand, pound Q, you know, save everyone some time there. So as I'm, you know, just telling stories here, I recently, I bought a light kit for doing more like video and stuff. So I have this baby, and I was trying to like not have like bulky equipment, like a big light kit, because those, I don't know if people have seen those. I don't have it set up or anything, but you know, it's like an umbrella and like a huge bulb. These bulbs are massive. I should have gotten it out, but the bulb is like as big as this tripod thing here. I mean, it's like huge. It's like 85 watts fluorescent or so. So I think like the incandescent equivalent is like, I have like an 800 watt kit. So I have 2 of those 85 watt bulbs. It's like these upside down umbrellas that are like covered with foil. It's like a photo, like if you recall, if you think about like a portrait studio or whatever, it's those big light boxes. So it's like an upside down umbrella with a mesh thing over the front, super bright. And the thing is, I mean, it only took maybe 5 or 6 minutes to set up or so. And it was so much easier to shoot my video yesterday. It was way easier. And I mean, some days when it's cloudy, it's really hard to get the light. And I have a few big windows, but it depends on the time of day. It depends on if there's cloud cover, and it could change while you're shooting, which is not cool. But this light kit, I mean, it was only like 45 bucks or so. So I don't know why I was waiting, because I have a couple like smaller like desk lamps and different lamps that I would move around, and I would get like big, you know, what I thought were big 100 watt equivalent bulbs instead of these like 400 watt equivalent. And I don't know what I was wasting my time for, because, you know, setting up small desk lamps and moving things around is just a huge waste of time. But I guess I wasn't sure if I was going to be doing a lot of video, which I am going to be. So basically, the light kit was a great investment. Okay, let's see. Snowers1 says, how long do you wait till you begin building backlinks to my articles after you publish them? If I'm doing Virtually no time, right? I mean, it depends on what stage of the process you're in. If you're starting a new site and you're publishing like 10 pieces of content to get started, as soon as you publish the 10, go ahead and start link building. If I'm publishing KGR content, I really don't do any link building. I just publish them and then interlink throughout the site. But I mean, really, there's no, I mean, you could publish something and start, I mean, you can start promotion and link building and start the process of getting links before you even publish the content. I mean, if you're thinking about, launching a piece of content, you can actually start networking before you even publish that content. Lorraine says, you're still intrigued how archive pages are indexed when sometimes the post itself isn't even in the top 100. Using Yoast, by the way, no backlinks. Cool. Yeah, I think, sometimes those specific, like the category pages, there's like so many words on it because like every post is listed or a bunch of posts are listed on there. So it's probably like a word count thing. And yeah, Yoast has that option to no index the archive pages. So just figure out how to do that. Toki says, you replied to my email, but you put the question here. Thank you. You've been struggling with the amount and type of information to add to a review post besides general review info. Okay. So you've added a science-based type study, how to grip, how to anchor, rope, alternatives, exercises, blah, 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 too daunting for a reader looking just to buy. Basically, I have a webinar that I did a couple weeks ago, Toki. Did you see it? It was like the 2 ways to streamline content production. And what I recommend you do is the RPM. So that is the research paper method, and then that should solve your problem. So it's simple, just do the RPM method. If you go to part 1 of my content series, that'll take care of it also. John says, what's the best strategy to find ideas and write kick-ass articles for your niche? Let's see. I would say the best, I'm just going to give one answer, go to forums if there's any forums in your niche and see what is in the forums. I lean on the idea of the Homebrew Talk forum, which is a huge, very active forum for homebrewing beer, but there's so much information and content there. I mean, literally, you'd never run out of questions to ask and things to answer and articles to write. Okay. Alrighty, so Paul says, how much do I pay writers and the editor that checks the writer's work? I pay the writers about $14 to $15 for 1,000 words, give or take. And the editor gets paid between $10 and $20, depending on their experience level, what they're working on, and stuff like that. I have to cough here, I'm gonna mute. All right. Okay, what other questions do we have? I'll try not to scream. I can just get closer. I don't know why. I mean, this thing works pretty good, so I shouldn't fight it, I guess. Okay. And I do have a couple interesting things. So if you are on the email list, which I think most people are, I'm going to be sending out an email later. I was actually on WP Eagle, another YouTube channel, and it's been a great response. I'm going to send out an email for that. Additionally, I do have kind of a cool offer coming out on Monday, which I'll mention here. And man, I have to cough again. Okay, so kind of a cool offer coming out on Monday. I personally am not a huge fan of the done-for-you sites. However, many people are, and I realize that my opinion is just one of many, and I'm wrong about so many things. So my friend John Haver and Andrew Jones over at Brand Builders are working with me on a kind of a cool offer. So there are going to be a few sites available, like done-for-you sites that are turnkey situations. They're going to be available for a short time starting on Monday. So I'm going to send out an email on Monday for that. And basically, I think there's 5 of them. I think there's 5 sites, and I think you can, I mean, basically you can get them within a few hours. They are, you know, keyword research is done, they're set up, they have content, like they're all ready to rock. So, you know, it's one of those situations where, you know, they had the availability. I know people are into the idea, even though, again, I'm very real particular. You know, my wife tells me that I'm very particular and specific about stuff that I like. So, you know, I like my coffee a certain way, and I like you know, just everything just so. So I like to build my own sites, but a lot of people, they want to get a site that's done, and then they could focus on the promotion and link building. Maybe content's not their thing. So I totally understand. Anyway, the email will come out on Monday. I expect them to go quickly. I expect them to go very fast. So be sure to look out for the email on Monday if you are interested in something like that. Okay. Paul followed up and said $10 to $20 per hour. Yeah, so the writers get paid a fixed price for the content, and it is $10 to $15 for 1,000 words. The editors and the content manager gets paid $10 to $20 per hour. I have paid as low as 10. I have paid as high as 20. That's why I give a range. And hey, you can split the difference and say 15 bucks an hour. Or, I mean, you can, you know, pay cheaper if you want, but I mean, I paid someone 20 bucks an hour because they knew WordPress. They had like years of experience with content management and like very little training. So, I mean, there's value in it, and, you know, I don't want to lose a good, you know, freelancer because I'm not paying them enough. So, okay. Lorraine asked, can you expect a full-time income with the KGR method? Well, that all depends on what you call a full-time income, but in general, sure. Sure. XCNet says, you have a site ranking #1 or #2 for several keywords. I have to move it to another host. Currently, the host is no longer acceptable. Will simply moving the site to another host mess up my rankings? No, it should not. Mohammed says, normally niche site ranking takes time to succeed. In the meantime, how do you motivate yourself? What's your all-time favorite movie? What's my weekend plan? Okay. How do I motivate myself? I think usually if I'm like focusing really hard on a thing, which happens with niche sites or, you know, a lot of the stuff that I get into, if I focus really hard on a thing, intrinsically, like I'm satisfied with it. So yesterday I got the lighting kit, right? I shot a video. I had been working on the script, which was only 1,000 words, like all week long. And I was editing and practicing the video. And then I edited the video, and I probably did 12 hours of work yesterday. About 10 of it was probably solely on the video. So I just kind of, when I put my head down, like I could really focus. Now I'll back up and say the 2 to 3 weeks before that was this scattered mess of me not being sure what to work on. And you probably saw that in some of my videos. Some of these live streams specifically where I was like, I'm not sure what to work on. So there is a period of scattered, just shotgun mess of like not much getting done, a lot of busyness, but not a lot of work getting done. And then it's followed by something very specific that I work on. And that, I guess that motivates me. That portion where I know that I'm getting something done motivates me. All-time favorite movie, I'm going to say 2. So I really like Office Space. And then there's a movie called Forgetting Sarah Marshall with Jason Segel and Kristen Bell. Mila Kunis, I think, and I'm trying to think who else is in there. But anyway, great movie. Came out in like 2007, and I don't think it was that huge, but I don't know. It's awesome. It's pretty funny. I think we saw it a couple years after it came out, but we went to Hawaii a few years back. Really enjoyed it, so it's a nice memory. I like to watch it in the winter here in Montana because there's like a foot of snow on the ground for like a few months. So watching that Hawaiian setting is pretty nice. And the weekend plan, I'm gonna go hiking some. We are gonna go check out the eclipse. So that's Monday, but that will be pretty cool. Okay, last few questions, so be sure to get them in here right now. And also with the weekend plan, I'm gonna see if my parents, like, what they're up for. But basically, they were on vacation for the last week, so they were at Yosemite, which is in California. So they're swinging back here on the way back, which is not really on the way, but just they're heading back east-ish. So we'll see like how much stuff they want to do. They've been here before. They've been to Yellowstone before, so it won't be like we have to go to Yellowstone or anything like that. They've spent a decent amount of time there. Okay, Paul says, I've decided this decreasing in traffic for the last few months. At first you thought it was a seasonal thing, but the trend is continuing. What do I suggest you do? Check Google Trends to see what the situation is, right? Check Google Trends. I'm not sure, based on your question, if you have checked that. If it looks like it's a seasonal thing, then you can react accordingly. You can react accordingly. If it is not seasonal and your site is not doing as well, then add content and add backlinks. So almost everything comes down to that. Add content, add backlinks. You could do a blend of the two. You could pick one. Usually a blend is nice, and go from there. Okay. Lorraine says, you like the format. When do I do live Q&A? Usually. I usually do it exactly at this time. So I do live Q&A. I think I haven't finalized it, but I think I'm going to do like 2 live sessions per week. One will be Friday. It'll be Q&A because I could basically just show up. That's easier for me. And then probably one other day, I'm not sure which day, I'll have like some loose topic that I'll talk about. Probably it'll be tied into something I'm publishing because that just makes it a little easier for me. Again, just reusing the content again and again. And I haven't finalized the format, but I think I'm actually going to try to publish 5 times a week. 2 of them will be live sessions. One will be like a vlog type content. One will be like a 2 to 3 minute video, and we'll kind of take it from there. I'm not really sure, but I'm definitely, I got the lighting kit. I'm taking the YouTube stuff seriously at this point. I'm glad you like the format though. Q-Dog, what's up? And what do we got here? What do we got? What should a good revenue target be at 3 months, 6 months, 9 months for a new site? Okay, 3 months, maybe like 20 to 70 bucks. 6 months, about $100. 9 months, somewhere between say like 500, give or take. And then in a year, probably 1,000 to 2,000. Varies a lot, depends on the price of the product, depends on the amount of traffic and the amount of content that you've put on. If you launch a site and you put a ton of content out there, let's say you have a big budget and you know that, it's not your first site perhaps, then you really can make a big dent, and you can, it could be within a year, it could be $5,000. It just depends on some things. Of course, if you're busting your ass, you're working on it full time, you're getting a bunch of backlinks and a lot of content, well, that's going to make a big difference. So, but my answer stands as far as, how much, the 3, 6, and 9 month area. And Paul says, make things a routine. This is to Mohammed. Make things a routine and you don't need motivation. So yeah, good call on that. If you make it a habit, it sure does help. But and I know every now and then, people I go through cycles. Sometimes I'm just like really well focused and I'm satisfied with what I'm working on, and then other times I'm like, what am I even doing? So that doesn't go away, by the way. So even if you're getting started or if you're established, it doesn't go away. Okay. Q says, or sorry, not Q. Julian says, does changing from a free theme to a paid theme hurt rankings of the site? No, not necessarily. It does depend on your theme and stuff like that. If it's a good, like, modern theme, it shouldn't impact anything. Lorraine says, my site is 1 week old and you've been doing some KGR on it. Currently you have 6 articles. When should I start blog commenting? When you get to 10 articles, start blog commenting. Leo says, have I shared my schedule for videos for next week? No. I do know that I should put that in my email today. Thanks, Leo, for asking. I know I'm not going to publish any, or I'm not going to go live on Monday and probably not on Tuesday, but I will publish a video. I already have something queued up to go out on Monday. So I may take a pause next week to get ready to implement the schedule. So for next week, I don't have it up yet, but I'll send it out in my email. Thanks again for asking. Snowers1 says, what's my usual backlinking strategy? Do I use any tools or software to index backlinks and pages quicker? Usually I do blog commenting and then guest posting. That's it. And then do I use any tools or software to index my backlinks? No. And pages quicker. So I will occasionally go to the Google Search Console and fetch and then index my new pages or whatever. But I really don't find that to be necessary, and I don't do anything to index my backlinks. I really don't care about that. I assume Google takes care of that, which they do. But by the way, I haven't had any issues with it. Many times people, I mean, if you're doing gray hat stuff and you're doing like Web 2.0s, you're doing PBNs, and then you're pushing those with like some automated link software, then yeah, maybe you do need to index your backlinks because those are sort of like dead pages on the internet. Like no one's linking to your gray hat links. And by the way, I mean, I don't do gray hat stuff personally. I just do the blog comments and guest posting. Keep it simple and effective. But I have nothing against people that do gray hat stuff. It's just not my style, not my thing. So again, I don't worry about indexing backlinks or anything like that. Okay. Maddie says, if you get links to non-commercial page, is it a valid tactic to 301 redirect that page to one of your money pages? I've never tried it. It sounds like an interesting thing to do. So, but my question would be, why don't you just get links to your commercial content? So just cut out the middleman there. And by the way, I see we have quite a few viewers on here. We have like 20. If you have a second, please give a like, a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. It looks like we have 8, just unprompted, which is cool. Thanks, Dennis, for the reminder there. But yeah, if you have a second, if I answered your question, if you like me, then click thumbs up. Even if you don't like me, maybe you think I'm a little bit annoying, maybe I had too much caffeine and I'm talking too fast, give me a thumbs up anyway. I'd appreciate it. So Lorraine says, are blog commenting enough to draw good backlinks that will affect SEO? Not really. If you have super low competition keyword, then maybe the no-follow blog commenting links will help. But really, Lorraine, what you're trying to do is network with your niche. So if you blog comment, you're building a relationship with someone, and that's good. So later on, you can ask for a guest post. So that's the main reason we do it. It's not necessarily for the link in the comments. It's not really that effective. Anyone can do that. But if you spend the time to build a relationship over a couple weeks and then maybe email the person, give them a nice compliment or something, then it's much more likely that you get a guest post accepted. That is the goal. That's the link you want. Pierre says, how much do I think is a good amount to invest initially in backlinks and link building for a new niche site? As much as I mean, it's a tough question. So if it were me, I'd probably say, I'm assuming you're outsourcing it and spending money on content, stuff like that, maybe like $300 to $500. However, I will say you don't have to spend anything. You could do it all on your own. It'll just take a little longer. But if you hire some VAs to help you out, some outreach managers, whatever, like then, you could pay $10 an hour, like I was saying, and basically spend a few $100 on it. Okay, couple more questions here, and then I gotta go. So Lorraine says, should I try to reach for guest posting in competitive websites? Sure. I mean, my hunch is your conversion rate will be lower. And you know what? I'm not sure if I understand your question. If you're trying to get on competitive website, that's cool. Go for it. If you're saying a competitor's website, or if you're trying to guest post on your competitor's website, don't do that. I mean, they wouldn't publish it, so there's no real point in that. So go to related websites, but not competitors. So don't go to competitors. Sorry if I misread your question there. But competitive websites, authoritative websites, go for that, sure. I mean, your conversion rate will be lower, but I mean, those pay off big. QDog says, do I have a tracking system for blog comments that get approved and therefore where to follow up for a guest post? Yeah, just use a spreadsheet. If you're on the email list, you should have access to it, but basically it's a sheet where you list the post, the URL of the blog you want to comment on. You put the date in which you commented, and then you go back in a few days and check to see if the comment's there, and you put yes or no. And then you follow up with those people. So there's software out there that supposedly makes it easier, but I found that it was just a hassle to work with. I've tried to use BuzzStream, and I've used Ninja Outreach, which I think Ninja Outreach is sort of on the cutting edge of it. One of my friends is a founder there. But personally, I'm not using any software right now, just Google Sheets, and simple is best. Everything is as simple as I can get it. Matthew says, I think it's easier to get links to an article like how to use a pen rather than best pens, but I guess redirecting is worse than keeping your how-to post and interlinking. I don't know, Matthews. I mean, your point, okay, interesting point here, folks. So Matthew says it's easier to get links to an article that's how-to versus a affiliate post. Yeah, it's easier, but what are you really trying to do? You're trying to rank your affiliate post, right? So, I mean, even though it's harder, that means like if you can do stuff, let's say people are doing the easy thing and getting the how-to links, and you're doing the harder stuff, you're getting links directly to your post, like you're gonna win, right? You're gonna get links directly to your post. Now, your real question is like, can you redirect and whatever? Yeah, sure. I mean, give it a shot. I've never done it before, but redirecting works fine. I'm sure I've inadvertently done it because I do consolidate pages based on like what's ranking. So I'll consolidate pages, 301 redirect. So I know I have links going to posts that are 301 redirected to another page where I've consolidated data. But Matthias, I mean, either way is fine, but I would just say like work harder to get those links to your best of post, your affiliate post, because if you're trying to rank something, go for that. Okay, I'm gonna answer as quickly as possible, and then I got a jet. What sort of things would you normally plan out before creating your websites beside the niche? Snowers one, that is too general of a question, so I don't know how to answer it. Um, and then I'm not sure, Shada Duel says, can we bring visitors in our website with free backlink? Sure. I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, but I think you can bring visitors in any way you like. So I'm nearly 100% sure. I'm not sure what you're asking. Corey says, hey, Doug. What's up, Corey? Thanks for joining. You started a Google AdWords campaign in order to get some traffic a couple weeks ago. You know the goal is to get traffic through SEO, but it's helped. Excellent. It helped show people really wanted out of the product you were promoting, so you made $1.90 and then another $5 bounty. It's nothing, but you're excited to get that first dollar. Awesome, Corey. That sounds like you know, a cool thing to do to get, you know, people onto your site. I'm not an AdWords person, so I don't know. But yeah, it's good to get people on the site and actually making some conversions. Okay, I'm out of here, and I'm not going to be here on Monday. There will be another video. If you're not on the email list, you should go to nichesiteproject.com, and there's a button. Click on the button, put in your email address. You'll be on the email list, and basically I have exciting stuff coming out, so I hope you stick around and watch, and there'll be stuff next week, and I'll send out a schedule. So I'll send out a schedule for next week, but I suspect at least there'll be 2 live streams. So everybody have a good weekend. I'm out of here. Thanks.